I don't know, y'all. Because the girls is calling him sassy for the way that he responded to Miss Melyssa Ford. But I don't know. If you was being accused of what she kind of low key accused him of, I feel like maybe you would respond in the same way. But that's just me.
Let's talk about it.
Shawty, come and swing my way. We ain't gotta waste no time now, baby. Put that all in my face. I just wanna bump and grind on you, on you, on you, want you on my face, so shawty, come and swing my way.
I want people to have fun. Let's kick back. Let's get into a little tea. Let's not get too crazy, but let's enjoy the sip.
But let's get to the chi-chi, the kiki, the internet bull.
If you want to see extended videos, exclusive content, including story times and more, subscribe to my Patreon. If you want to stay engaged and keep up with my commentary, follow me on Twitter. And if you would like to book a personal reading, you can go to my website, thealigningsouls.com, to schedule you a personal reading today. Oh, if they don't get off my damn screen, this is about me. Thank you. What's going on, y'all? This is Santana, aka Chi, and we are back for another Let's Talk About It. Because, girl, we got more to talk about. I thought I was done for the day. I'm scrolling on Instagram trying to get ready for tomorrow, and then I saw something, and I was like, ooh. And then I kind of ignored it. And then I put on, some background music, I watched the Joe Budden podcast or whatever. And, today's podcast is titled Vanity King. I thought he was calling it Vanity King because that would have been funnier. But that's neither here nor there. They started talking about the whole Camron and Melyssa Ford situation. And Melyssa was about to give her response. And I was like, no, wait. Because I had just saw Camron's response on Instagram. Mind you, I know nothing of the situation. I still don't know nothing of the situation. So before we get into the situation together, y'all already know what to do. Go like the video.
Nothing for free. I cuss a lot. Bitch, I'm a queen. Not like the thoughts. If you wanna be together, you gotta spend that cheddar. You wanna be forever, you gotta spend that cheddar. Gotta send a check on me, gotta send a rest on me. Hey, hey, gotta move successfully. If you want the best of me, hey, hey, gotta send a check on me, gotta send a rest on me. Hey, hey, gotta move successfully. If you want the best of me, hey, hey.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into the situation. So, Camron responds to Melyssa's Ford apology following the model's statements insinuating that he and Mace were involved with minors. So, I don't know if this is the beginning or the middle of the situation, child. We just gonna see together.
I don't think that's right what you're doing. I don't think that's right.
Well, who's doing?
What you doing? I don't think that's right. Like, them niggas clearly went to a whorehouse and took somebody up out of here.
Says them. And
that's who told the story. But that's who told the story.
I get that.
So of course it says them. Who else
Is there a distinct possibility that there may have been underage girls in that whorehouse?
Oh,
come on now.
That's crazy.
I don't know what you're doing.
That's crazy.
That's disgusting what you're doing.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
What are you doing?
Okay, I'm not gonna let that plane. Just saying.
That plane should have never even took
That's
off.
not a plane. That's not. It's not even wings on that bitch. No pilot.
No nothing.
No
That shit
cockpit.
is
What are you doing?
Not even a drone. That was a little crazy. Yeah,
Okay.
Wow. I didn't know where you was going.
I don't know
That
what
was
the
crazy.
Canadian whorehouses are like.
I don't know. I've never been to a whorehouse. I couldn't tell you.
So why would you say
something like that?
There was underage
I don't think that's right what you're doing. I don't think that's right.
girls.
If you've never been to a whorehouse, then why would you say that?
I guess because I watch like a lot of stories on sex trafficking victims and shit like that, talking about how they ended up in situations like that kind of situation where they ended up in said whorehouses and stuff like that and how they got there. I think that's where I've gotten the information from.
Girls.
If you've never been to a whorehouse, then why would you say that?
I guess because I watch like a lot of stories on sex trafficking victims.
Okay, so I guess that was the claims that Melyssa had made. I still don't know what the original story was, but I will say this. It's 2024. It's time for us to start having real conversations. And I feel like if Melyssa wasn't on, first of all, if you don't even know who I'm talking about, or what she does and all of this. Basically, this is a Joe Budden podcast, right? And obviously, Joe has this podcast. He goes viral every other day just for breathing. And Melyssa is one of the new co-hosts that was added about roughly like a year ago or whatever. And she's the only girl that is on a podcast. Now, understand that this is a podcast of like 6 men, or like 5 men rather, and then she's like the only girl. And for the most part during the episodes, like she'll sit there, she'll laugh, she'll joke along with them, but like there's certain topics where she like really starts to give her input. That's not to say that she's not a necessary part of the show. I personally like it. I like this rendition of the Joe Budden podcast with Ish and Mel and Ice and Flip and Parks. Like, I like this way better than Rory and Mal. Rory and Mal used to get on my damn nerves, trying to protect the industry relationships. But I like this new rendition. And I wish Mel would speak up more. But I guess a situation like this is probably why she doesn't necessarily speak up as much, because she is the only woman that's in the room. And so my instant thought and feeling after hearing what she's saying, like, I understand where she's coming from, but when you have 5 men that's pushing back at you, and then they could possibly look at a certain way as well, you kind of don't necessarily stand 10 toes down as you would. Kind of like a Claudia Jordan on TGIF, Hot Child. She listen, women are never wrong in Claudia Jordan's book. Like, she will hold it down. Like, child, I don't know if y'all watch TGIF, but they are in the comments of today's video going in on her like, girl, you are wrong. You are wrong. Okay. But yeah, so I basically feel where she's coming from. And basically, I guess what she was trying to say was, listen, with these house parties and these whorehouses and whatever, like, it's possible that, you got all of these groupies in here, and some of these girls can have been underage. Of course, everybody in the room was like, no, like, what are you implying? Da, 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 whatever. That's what I'm getting from it. Again, I don't know the entire story, because, again, this is just something that I jumbled upon as I was preparing to be done for the day. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I know y'all will, but that's what I'm gathering from the story. Is that yeah, she was looking at this, okay, this is a whorehouse, and like, you got to know that some people in here are underage. Now I'll say this, because in 2024, I want people to be a lot more honest. I understand that now we're in a space where truths are getting exposed, and, people are, feeling things and speaking up a lot more, and this, that, and the third. But I need people to understand that now, today in 2024, is a very different world than the 90s was, than the 2000s was, hell, even the early 2010s. It was very different. Way before the streaming era, when we actually had true celebrities and true stars and true rappers and musicians and athletes and all of that, groupie culture was a thing, right? And I'm more so, this is speaking about, I believe Mace and Camron or something like that. But with Hollywood culture, there was groupie culture. And it's not that it was just with Hollywood, because it also happened in real life, but there were parties, and everybody in the party wasn't necessarily over 18 or over 21. You know what I'm saying? And as we knew it with the rappers, they were groupies, and groupies was basically people that was sucking the rapper's dick, whether it was literally, metaphorically, figuratively, whatever. We knew that they were trying to get close to these musicians by any means. A lot of times through sex, through drugs, through rock and roll. Like, that was literally like the claim to fame for rappers and musicians. Like, I want to be about that sex, drugs, rock and roll type of life. Like, I want that rock and roll lifestyle. That's what came with it. Now, was people sitting there IDing everybody at the door? No. Was it their obligation? No. To me, no. Because I'm here, I'm throwing an after party, this, that, and the third. I have people, and I feel like this, I don't know if this whole piece of segment where she started speaking about Camron comes from a bigger discussion that maybe they were having, because I feel like this kind of relates to another story. I don't even remember who it was that was being spoke about. I think it was Uncle Luke that was being spoke about or something like that. But somebody basically came out recently and said, when it came time to have those backstage parties and whatnot, I wasn't sitting there checking IDs. Like, I'm relying on my team, on my people that's around me to do all of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm having fun, and I also too, the 90s and the 2000s was a completely different time. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't nobody necessarily thinking that somebody was just going to sneak into a party. You knew it was possible, but it wasn't. There's a huge difference between going out there and looking for minors and then minors happening to sneak in. Being somebody that's 30 years old, a millennial, I was around during that time. I remember sneaking into clubs, doing things I shouldn't have been doing, drinking at 12, drinking at 14, smoking cigarettes at 15. Like, that's just the culture in the world that we were in. So is it possible to have been in certain places, whether it was a sex club or a whorehouse or backstage parties and things like that, for teenagers sneaking? Hell yeah. It was possible. Was it possible for, people over 21 to unknowingly have had sex with minors? More than possible. And it's not an uncommon thing. It was actually pretty common. You know what I mean? And for me personally, I'm not saying that Mel was feeling this way or like trying to imply that they were pedophiles and things like that. For me, I don't look at it as pedophilia. I look at it like, and I want to be very clear with what I'm saying. To sleep with somebody that's underage, yeah, that's pedophilia. But what I'm talking about is like, I don't feel as though someone not knowing, child, because I'm trying to be careful with my words because I don't want to get it screwed up. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're like 16, 17 and you're sneaking into a club and then you meet somebody that's a little bit old, like, you know what I mean? To me, it doesn't hit the same as somebody who is literally a predator and knowingly, intentionally going out there to talk to a 12-year-old, to talk to somebody underage. You know what I'm saying? And I'll leave it at that because I don't want to jump up my words and, But let's go ahead and get back to this post. So Mace and Camron ended up responding. It says Camron took to his Instagram to respond to Melyssa Ford's apology following her statements, insinuating that he and Mace were involved with minors in a whorehouse.
To tell the truth, we're not into anything illegal, so you can stop trying to put that together. Let me put you together right quick. Don't ever come for me and kill her. Ever.
And we're gonna be nice about it.
In your mother's life, nigga. This is not what you want.
I promise you all the comments say, ooh. It's like, you picked the wrong people to fuck with.
You picked the wrong one. Because I can't tell you how much I don't care. I couldn't even tell you how much.
Because I'm going to be honest with you.
And he's more petty than I am.
I'm going to be honest with you. Only reason and if need be, we will revisit this. If need be,
we can revisit it.
Yeah, but the whole thing, this is screaming desperate and attention. Like, it really is. So I'm not going. But if need, nigga, because niggas is looking for us.
We're just here to tell the truth. We're not into anything illegal. So. Take nothing from nobody. You can stop trying to.
Secondly,
we only like people that love us more than we love ourselves. We have a
whole segment on that. Secondly, who was looking out for us?
Yeah, we were young.
Yeah, who was looking out for us when we was? Listen, man, we ain't gonna give it no attention, but tread lightly. Be careful. Because I'll tell you one thing, I know a lot of people are ICE.
Snipers and sharpshooters.
Snipers, sharpshooters. And I know people are ICE. I have you escorted back up across the border. Be careful. Be careful. And it screams desperation, but we'll get a petition to get you out the country. Cut it out.
I was gonna let you stay, but Killer.
I'll get out the damn country. I'll make 2 calls, man. But I was looking back to dirt.
You have never, ever, ever.
Okay. So before we get into Melyssa's response, child, I didn't know he said all that because I just read the Shade Room caption of saying, basically, girl, I got ICE number. Don't play. And I was thinking like it was some jokey joke. I just saw the words. I didn't actually hear it and see it in the video. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I mean, again, y'all gonna have to drop in the comments below, and I want an unbiased opinion. Don't give me the whole we protect the male because she black and she a woman. No, give me an unbiased but based off of what I heard Mel say, it was an honest assessment. It was an honest assessment. And I'm sure there was probably some underage girls there too, right? But then at the same time, the timing of it. Because I understood where Mel was coming from, but then at the same time, when you consider Diddy's going through shit, I just did a video on Kimora Simmons, and as soon as I uploaded that video, I come to Baller Alert and I see that Russell Simmons is now speaking out again about his lawsuits and his women affairs and whatnot, and like just given the timing of everything going on, I can see how people are kind of like walking on eggshells, and it's like, be very careful what you say about me. And so everybody's kind of like a ticky time bomb, because it's like, okay, who's next? Who's next? Right? Because not that the people that are getting exposed didn't do anything, but it's definitely a mountain and a molehill. You know what I mean? It's definitely like just scratching the hairs, just the cherry on top. It's like, if you really dive deep, you'll realize a lot more of this shit is darker and more sinister than you even can imagine. And like I've been saying in every video, there's always a show within a show, and Hollywood is very much a show within a show. And these entertainers and these rappers and these record labels and the media, it's all a show that's within a show, a bigger production that's going on. And the people that are always going to be first to fall on the sword are going to be the people that we see immediately, and not necessarily the inner workings of what's going on behind them, right? And so a lot is going to get exposed during the age of Aquarius. A lot is going to get exposed, and I can see why a lot of people are ticky time bomb, because it's just like, okay, something going to come out about me next, you know, especially now living in the age of Me Too and people reopening cases from 20 years ago. Like, a lot of these niggas done did some shady ass, grimy ass shit that was not politically correct, that probably was not safe, that probably wasn't right. A lot of them probably got away with shit, a lot of shit. And I can see, again, why they're walking on eggshells. On the flip side, I can also see people being nervous, because it's like, I know I didn't do anything, but we also now live in an age where people are saying consent is consent. And while I agree with that, again, we live in an age where people are not only saying consent is consent, but we live in an age where people are saying, yeah, consent is consent, even to the point where even if I consented, I could take it back. This is why I need to hurry up and start my actual podcast, so I can start giving my opinions on like different, like dive where I can do deep dives into certain shit, because I don't necessarily agree with what everybody's saying and thinking and moving in 2024. I'm gonna just say that consent is definitely consent, but I don't necessarily personally agree with the whole. I feel like it gets difficult. Let me put it that way. I feel like it gets difficult when it's situations like you have all the setups there, and it's like you're smoking. Like it like in 2024, if somebody asks you to Netflix and chill, you should have enough brain wherewithal to know this person means let's fuck. Granted, on paper, yes. Yes, I still have consent. Yes, I can say no at any point. Yes, to all of those obvious things. Yes, but there should also be some sort of street smarts there to know, okay, these are the red flags that somebody is only trying to use me for sex. Yes, I can say no at any moment, but I should already have it in my mind that if I'm getting on a plane and I'm not paying for anything, that this man is going to expect something. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to want some ass. He's going to want some coochie. And yes, at any point I can say no, but I'm just, you understand what I'm saying? So while I feel like a lot of these niggas done did some grimy shit and they are walking on eggshells, and that's why it's just like, okay, hold up now, be careful with the language and whatnot, because what you're not about to do is Diddy and Russell meet right after Diddy being done getting exposed. It's not about to be a whole Camron expose going on. I can understand that side, but I can also understand the flip side of some people out there. And I'm not saying whether Camron is innocent or guilty. I don't know that. I haven't done enough research on all this. I don't know. But I'm saying on the flip side, I can see that there's a lot of rappers and people out there that are innocent and know that they necessarily didn't do anything. But given how finicky today's world is, where again, it's like people could have been totally consenting in the moment, but then they can turn around and lie or turn around and try to alternate facts. It's like you showed up to the Netflix and chill, fully aware of what was going on. You knew, okay, we usually smoke and get high and then fucking this, that, and the third, and da-da-da. And then, 20 years later, you're crying out it was something else. I can understand all sides of it. And again, if I'm missing a part of the story, then tell me down below. But again, like I said, I completely understood where Melyssa was coming from. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, it does get kind of spicy and dicey considering the timing and the climate right now. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm not necessarily too mad at Camron and how he went in. Because it's like, girl, now is not necessarily the time. But I don't know. But let's get into her apology. Or her response, rather, because I don't know if she apologized, but let's get into it.
how serious that is. That's why I asked if you just wanted to apologize for that, because that was crazy. I did, and the way they responded, like, I commend them for it, because they could have jumped out the window and would have been well within their right for that.
Absolutely. You said, "Oh, you're gonna get your ass handed for that comment," and
I said, are you sure that you want that to be there? Because they're gonna kill you. This is what I said.
No, you didn't. But okay.
Well, either way, you stood at your point in that conversation was valid without that.
I agree with that as well.
It didn't need
it. You're absolutely right. I don't even want to say the phrase "walk it back." I'll just say I apologize. I should never have made that insinuation. They're absolutely right. And you're right. I do know they did offer grace. Because they could have said something
out there on somebody. How serious that is.
Completely differently, and I appreciate that. So you're absolutely right. I shouldn't have made that insinuation at all. What my original statement was of that, I felt like it was, in poor taste considering the environment that we're in right now. That's all I could have said and left it at that.
Correct.
So yes, I do. I apologize. Think completely differently. And
okay, and I'm glad. I'm glad that I'm here. Listen, because like I said when I started this video, I'm doing all of this live in real time. I don't know shit about this situation. I was cooling down for the night, and then I ran into an article and a TikTok, and I was like, oh, I kind of heard about that earlier. Let me do a quick video. So I'm unfamiliar, but I'm glad everybody is saying what I was feeling, like, and what I literally just said, because that's how I felt. I agree with what she said, but at the same time, I'm like, the climate and like, girl, like, and like, again, the first thing that I saw was on the Shade Room, and we already know the Shade Room is meant to gaslight a motherfucker, and the people in the comments are meant to be violent. So I can't necessarily use that as my moral compass to figure out, okay, what's right, what's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm glad that I'm kind of getting more of a better picture, or more of a full story, because based off of all of this, it's like, yeah, like the conversation that put it this way. The conversation that Mel was trying to have, that's kitchen table talk. That's not a conversation that you have over the podcast, because again, now in 2024, we like to make up all of these new rules, and we want to try to act like 20 years ago was not 20 years ago, and 20 years ago didn't exist, and certain rules were different. It was a completely different world. People were not as progressive as they are today, and people were not as liberal as they are today, and it wasn't as strict 20 years ago as it is today. And I can even say that as somebody that's LGBT, because even in my type of world, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like this 20, 30 years ago. You know what I mean? It was a completely different world, and I understood where Mel was trying to come from. She was trying to have, just shoot the shits as somebody that was there. It's a whole bunch of millennials sitting around, and it's just like, we just shooting the shits, and it's just like, do you think that maybe at some of them house parties with a couple of underage girls? I can't say that on camera, Mel, because then that opens up a whole thing, given the climate that we in. We in a Me Too world. We in a Protect Black Women world. We in a Diddy and Russell, and let's take down, the billionaires and everybody that's doing this shit allegedly. Like, we in that. I get where she was coming from, but wrong. And wow, everybody in the Shade Room was like, oh, he's sassy for his response. No, he's justified. He's justified, because don't get on, have that conversation with me off camera, because when you have it in front of an audience, again, especially an audience that's flip-floppy now and wants to forget the climate that was 20, 30 years ago, whether it was right or wrong, we want to act like it did not exist. Me speaking anything about what happened then can only do bad, and will open up a can of worms today. And it automatically looks like, because again, we're in the age of believe the woman no matter what, believe the victim no matter what. Anything that I say can be used against me, and especially with the claims that you're making, even the questions that you're asking, the implications are not worth the headache. My response is not worth the headache. Your questions is not worth the headache that can follow after, because it all implies and looks like and sets me up to look like a pedophile, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I get his response. I get it. I completely get it.
And I appreciate that. So
Camron posted this. I told the bitch, don't touch me when we took this pic. Fuck you and your apology. Stay strong and stand on your business. We just busy at the moment, and we'll get to you soon, boo. And nothing violent before you accuse of some more shit that's inaccurate. He's trolling at this point. I know people gonna feel a way about a man calling a woman a bitch. Girl, we from New York. That's how we talk. That's how we talk. Now I know Mel probably gonna feel a way because Mel is not from New York. She's in New York. She's living in New York. She loves New York, but she's not from New York. She probably gonna feel a way. But like you know. Because I know it's a whole crowd out there like, oh, y'all men worshipers, y'all male identified, and oh my God, girl, what's the opposite of male identified? Because that's what half of y'all be. Child, I was gonna go through the comments, but I don't even feel like it. I feel like I done got enough from this. And yeah, I feel like I said everything that I needed to say. Yeah, I don't blame Mel at all. I'm not mad at Mel. I think Mel just had a teachable moment of, you know, what to say on camera, what not to say, given how the climate is and how the audience will react and how things can be twisted. But I'm also not mad at Camron for the way that he reacted and responded, because bitch, the last thing you about to do is insinuate that I'm a diddy, and even if it's true, that's girl. It ain't about to be Diddy exposed all December and then come Capricorn season, it's Capricorn Camron. No. Absolutely not. So I get it. Definitely let me know, you know, down in the comment box below how y'all felt about all of this. This video was way deeper than I thought it was about to be, child. That's what I get for trying to do some last minute shit, not knowing what I'm talking about going into it. Okay. Let me know what y'all thoughts and opinions about all of that is down below. Definitely make sure that you go stream my music as if you give a fuck, okay? And go to my website, thealigningsouls.com, to book you a personal reading, as well as signing up for the Patreon so we can start building that platform up, okay? And I love each and every one of y'all in HD, allegedly. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I do what I want, cause who gon' touch me? I get to the green cause I'm all about money. I'm looking like cash, you looking like cash. I'm looking like bags, you hoes looking like sack. You bitches looking like you can't get in. Got a couple dollars if you need to live. If I don't give a time, nigga, he was spent. So all that shit irrelevant. She's a